Welcome to my channel where we explore the dark and twisted world of horror stories. Whether you're a fan of classic tales or new and innovative horror, you'll find something to enjoy here. So sit back, relax, and let's get scared together. I work at a desolate hotel, and my closest companion is Ken, a man who wears his heart on his sleeve. We're inseparable, sharing our joys and woes. One unexpected day, Ken rushed in, his face beaming with excitement. He confessed to me that he'd found love. I couldn't help but tease him, suggesting it might be the woman who occasionally passed by the house. Ken, undeterred, challenged me to meet her in person, a dare I couldn't resist. Soon after, we gathered for a meeting, and Ken introduced me to his beloved, a captivating woman named Anne. Her alabaster beauty left an indelible impression, and we exchanged pleasantries. I couldn't help but share in my friend's newfound happiness as he embarked on this enchanting love story. But then, after 2 short weeks, Ken called me with shocking news. He was planning to marry Anne. My initial shock gave way to deep concern. "Are you absolutely certain, Ken?" I stammered, my worry palpable. Ken's response was resolute. He was unwavering in his conviction that Anne was the one he would wed. Despite my reservations, I didn't want to challenge Ken's earnest intentions. So, I swallowed my apprehension and congratulated him, accepting my role as a guest at my dearest friend's upcoming wedding. Ken and I continued with our ordinary work routines until 3 months had elapsed. Then, Ken revealed his decision to leave his job behind and relocate to Anne's remote country home. Concern gnawed at me, and I couldn't help but question the wisdom of his choice to venture into an unfamiliar job and environment. "Are you sure about this, Ken?" I inquired, my concern etched across my face. Ken's answer was unwavering, his mind set on his path. I mustered a supportive nod, reminding him to stand by his decision. However, not long after, Ken's voice trembled on the other end of the phone as he confided in me about Anne's strange behavior. Doubts and insecurities were creeping into their relationship, and he needed someone to confide in. My response was reluctant, masked in false assurance. I attempted to downplay the significance of these early troubles, reminding him that every relationship had its quirks and bumps. They were newlyweds. After all, such issues weren't insurmountable. Yet, just a fortnight later, as I readied myself for another day at work, I was taken aback when I spotted Ken's familiar figure joining me. I couldn't contain my surprise. "Why the sudden return, Ken?" I asked. With a nostalgic smile, Ken replied, "I missed this place and the camaraderie. I couldn't stay away for long." I welcomed him back warmly, happy to have my dear friend by my side once more, and headed to work, saying, "I'll catch up with you in a bit." I toiled away at work, but a creeping unease settled in as Ken's absence stretched longer than expected. Inquiries with my coworkers yielded nothing. They hadn't seen Ken arrive that day. A gnawing suspicion grew within me, suggesting that Ken might have found a quiet spot to rest. So, I scoured the familiar haunts where we would gather during breaks, the usual spots for a quick chat or a smoke. Yet, Ken's presence remained elusive, a puzzle I couldn't solve. The clock struck 8 a.m., and then a panicked call from Ken's mother pierced the air. "Ken is gone," she cried out. Disbelief coursed through me as I responded, "How could that be? I saw him just this morning." Ken's mother relayed the grim truth. A call from Anne's family revealed that Ken had drowned. I tried to console her, promising to find Ken and bring her to him. Taking an abrupt leave from work, I hurriedly led Ken's mother to Anne's residence. Once there, I sat with Anne, Ken's girlfriend, desperate for answers about his tragic demise. She explained that Ken had ventured out to catch fish for her dinner request. But in a cruel twist of fate, he had been inebriated, leading to a fatal accident in the river. Anne herself had been unaware of his drunken state until it was too late. As I pondered her account, it seemed like a tragic accident, albeit one fueled by Ken's penchant for eccentricities when intoxicated. Yet, Anne approached me again, her voice trembling as she recounted Ken's mother's unsettling actions. She described how Ken's mother had uttered ominous words. If someone does something to Ken, come and let mother know. Chillingly, Ken's mother had placed something white on Ken's feet before he was laid to rest in his coffin. I brushed off these eerie details, attributing them to rituals from Ken's family, eager to find logical explanations for the inexplicable. On the second morning of Ken's somber funeral preparations, I accompanied his grieving mother as she shopped for the necessary items. Amidst the quiet mourning, my attention was drawn to two shadowy figures approaching Ken's mother with some offering. They engaged in a hushed conversation before parting ways. When Ken's mother completed her shopping for the funeral arrangements, I couldn't help but inquire about those mysterious men. She assured me that they had provided items to assist with Ken's final rites. With a nod, I accepted her explanation and guided her back home to continue the somber preparations for Ken's funeral, shrouded in an eerie atmosphere. Anne's stepfather handed me an object, advising me to keep it for safety without providing any further explanation. Without much thought, I accepted the item, tucking it away as I prepared to return to my daily routine. The subsequent day marked my return to work, a necessity after only 3 days of leave. As I bade farewell to Ken's mother beside his coffin, I uttered a strange request, as if speaking to Ken's spirit. Ken, don't follow me back. We're not close. These words hung heavily in the air as I left the funeral behind. The drive home was a lonely one, the desolate countryside shrouded in darkness. The unlit road demanded careful navigation, forcing me to drive at a cautious pace. In the solitude, I pondered the eerie events of recent days and thought that at least I had my memories of Ken to keep me company on this forlorn journey. The thought crossed my mind to offer assistance to a lone figure walking by the road, possibly in need or searching for a ride. As I continued to approach the mysterious figure on the roadside, my mind became a battleground of conflicting thoughts. Doubt crept in. Was this person even real? The desolate surroundings revealed no signs of nearby homes, adding to my growing unease. Drawing nearer, I observed a person clad in white pants and a white shirt, arms oddly bent, walking with an eerie, unnatural gait. A chilling notion began to take root in my mind. Perhaps this was no person at all. If it were, surely they would react to my car's headlights. Seeking reassurance, I flashed my lights 2 or 3 times, desperately hoping for a response. Yet, to my mounting dread, the figure remained motionless and unresponsive. It was as though it cared not for my presence, amplifying my fear. In sheer terror, I fixed my gaze on the road ahead, purposefully ignoring the enigmatic entity by the roadside. I feared that acknowledging it any further might have dire consequences. As I finally passed this inexplicable being, I couldn't resist the urge to steal a glance in my rearview mirror, guided by intuition and suspicion. What I beheld was an unsettling sight, a figure walking with its head bowed, but its head itself was inexplicably absent from my view. Instead, it seemed like it was clutching something intangible in its hand. In that unsettling moment, the entity seemed to sense my scrutiny and abruptly hurled something from its hand into the back of my pickup truck, producing a loud, unsettling. Panic overtook me, and without conscious thought, I pressed down hard on the gas pedal, propelling my vehicle forward. After driving for what felt like an eternity, I eventually pulled into a gas station to regain my composure and inspect the mysterious object that had been thrown into my truck. With trembling hands, I ventured to the rear of my pickup, unsure of what I would find. To my bewilderment, I uncovered an old coconut. Confusion and fear churned within me. What had I encountered by the roadside? A person, a ghost, or something beyond comprehension? The lack of coconut trees in the vicinity left me questioning its origin and purpose. Initially, I had even mistaken it for a human head. The gas station attendants informed me that the route I had been traversing was seldom used, given its lonely and fog-shrouded nature. I couldn't help but feel fortunate that no accidents had befallen me on that eerie and unsettling stretch of road. After my eerie encounter with the disappearing coconut, I decided to freshen up in a gas station bathroom, preparing for the remainder of my journey. However, when I returned to the rear of my pickup to dispose of the old coconut, to my bewilderment, it had vanished into thin air. Perplexed, I assumed someone might have played a prank, leaving it behind for me to find. Shaking off the oddity, I proceeded straight home, my nerves still on edge. Upon my return, I hastily took a nap, eager to rest before heading back to work at 8 a.m. However, my uneasy feelings persisted. While at work, I found myself in the throes of a stomach ache, which compelled me to visit the bathroom. As I sat within the confines of the narrow restroom stall, conducting my business, an unexpected sound reached my ears, a haunting, tuneless whistle. Irritated by this unwelcome intrusion, my discomfort grew as the whistler entered the neighboring bathroom stall and, without warning, placed a foot on top of my own. The bathroom's confined quarters allowed no room for such an intrusion, and I instinctively recoiled, pulling my foot away. To my shock and frustration, the mysterious presence in the adjacent stall persisted, continuing to press their foot against mine. In protest, I shouted, demanding to know if there was a problem. Yet, no response was forthcoming, leaving me bewildered and on edge. After concluding my bathroom business, I swiftly exited my stall, determined to confront this unsettling intruder and discern their intentions. To my utter astonishment, I found the neighboring stall door ajar, with no one inside. My mind raced, recalling the bizarre occurrences that had haunted me since returning from Ken's funeral. This was now the second inexplicable incident I had encountered. I relayed the unsettling events to my colleagues at work, but they dismissed my account with laughter, attributing it to a mere misunderstanding. Despite their reassurances, I couldn't shake the lingering sense of unease that had settled over me. I continued with my work until the end of the day and returned to my room, physically exhausted but mentally tormented by the inexplicable events that seemed to be closing in around me. As I lay there, attempting to find solace in the stillness of my room, my girlfriend suddenly nudged me and urged me to look towards the room's rear. I turned to gaze upon an eerie sight, a shadowy figure standing, but conspicuously devoid of a head. In an attempt to quell her fears, I brushed it off as a mere shadow cast by a towel I had hung out to dry earlier. Yet, my girlfriend remained unsettled, pleading for me to remove the source of her distress, especially in light of the recent unsettling events surrounding Ken's death. Obliging her, I removed the towel, hoping to bring her some comfort, and we prepared to go back to sleep. However, our respite was short-lived. Moments later, my girlfriend prodded me once more, her voice trembling with fear as she insisted, "Let's sleep somewhere else." Exhausted and frustrated, I initially dismissed her concerns, thinking she was overreacting. Yet, as I rose from the bed and cast my eyes towards the back of the room once more, I was met with the same chilling sight, the shadowy figure, still headless, lurking in the darkness. My heart raced as I swiftly guided my girlfriend out of the room, seeking refuge in the quarters of a mutual friend. The following morning, my girlfriend and I arrived late for work, our fear preventing us from returning to the room where we had encountered the sinister apparition. After completing our work duties, I returned to our room, only to be met with an unsettling revelation from the maid. She informed me that, upon exiting the room, I needed to ensure I was thoroughly dry before venturing outside. Perplexed, I gazed towards the floor, where a trail of wet footprints led from the room's interior all the way to the staircase. The absurdity of it left me bewildered. Who would venture out with a wet body, leaving such a bizarre trail in their wake? A chilling thought crossed my mind. Could it be that my dear friend Ken had returned, perhaps in a form far more mysterious and unsettling than I could have ever imagined? 2 days passed, and Ken's mother urgently summoned me. After finishing work, I promptly made my way to her residence. There, Ken's mother recounted the disturbing events that unfolded during Ken's funeral. She reminded me of the day we had gone shopping when 2 individuals had approached her, referring to them as the rescuers. She showed me photographs depicting a series of perplexing scenes from the investigation. As I gazed upon the images, a shiver ran down my spine. The first photo displayed fishing equipment, the second a curious shoe print, and the third, the haunting image of Ken's lifeless body. Ken's mother went on to express her unease, emphasizing how peculiar it was that Ken, even inebriated, would venture near the water. Ken had never been one for swimming, yet the figure in the photos depicted a person clothed in long-sleeved jeans and canvas shoes, giving no indication of a fishing expedition, but rather an eerie fixation on self-destruction. After our unsettling conversation, I received a phone call that would send my mind spiraling into a world of eerie revelations. The voice on the other end revealed that before Anne's involvement with Ken, she had been married once before, and her previous husband had recently met an untimely demise. A chill coursed through my body as I struggled to comprehend the implications of this revelation. Ken's mother clarified that the caller had sought to convey the extraordinary nature of their child's death. Overwhelmed by a sense of foreboding, I silently beseeched Ken to find a way to communicate with me if his death had indeed been anything, not an accident. As the words left my lips, a resounding crash echoed from the second floor of the house. A sense of urgency overtook us, prompting Ken's mother and me to rush upstairs to investigate. What we encountered left us bewildered, The wardrobe had inexplicably collapsed. Amidst the confusion, a book tumbled from within the fallen wardrobe. When I examined the book that had mysteriously fallen, its contents revealed an unsettling truth: a life insurance policy with it as the sole beneficiary, leading me to piece together a disturbing and sinister narrative. We promptly contacted the police to share the disturbing details we had uncovered. The authorities delved into the dark history surrounding Anne's household, suspecting that Ken's demise might have been a calculated murder rather than the accident we had believed it to be. Shockingly, it came to light that within just 2 years, Anne had been married 3 times, and each of her husbands had met a suspicious and untimely end. Even more unsettling was the fact that all 3 of these deceased husbands had taken out life insurance policies, with Anne named as the sole beneficiary in each case. This unnerving pattern led the police to suspect a calculated motive: Anne's desire to claim the insurance payouts for herself. As the investigation unfolded, the horrifying truth emerged. Anne was arrested and eventually confessed to her heinous crimes. Her first husband had lived a seemingly ordinary life until a fatal accident claimed his life. Unbeknownst to him, Anne had secretly taken out a life insurance policy in his name, ensuring that she received a substantial sum upon his death. This set a sinister precedent, and continued to exploit this gruesome modus operandi with her subsequent husbands, including my dear friend Ken. But the chilling revelations didn't stop there. It was discovered that Anne's stepfather was, in fact, her real husband, orchestrating these sinister acts. Anne's mother was complicit in these malevolent schemes, and together they lured unsuspecting men into a web of deceit, ultimately leading to their gruesome demise. The depth of their depravity left me in profound sorrow for my dear friend, Ken, and a sense of disbelief that such a sinister plot could have unfolded in the life of someone I held so close. The unsettling events continued to plague my life even after Ken's case had concluded. It was a relentless cycle of the supernatural and accidents, leaving me convinced that there must be something more at play. Those encounters with people clad in white garments became an unnerving constant. Seeking answers and solace, I decided to visit a monk, hoping for some clarity. I recounted my experiences to the monk, detailing the strange occurrences that had haunted me. The venerable monk listened attentively and then spoke, revealing that the entity following me wasn't just my dear friend Ken, but also another presence, a person dressed in white. The monk's words were like a chilling revelation. He advised me to reflect on whether I had picked up anything unusual during my encounters. Following the monk's guidance, I returned to Ken's mother to delve deeper into the mysteries surrounding Ken's case. Upon my arrival, I discovered that Ken's mother was already in conversation with another guest, who turned out to be a relative of Anne's deceased ex-husband. This guest had something to show me, a photograph. As my eyes fixated on the image, I was struck with shock and disbelief. The picture depicted Anne's late ex-husband, who had met his tragic end wearing the very same white shirt and white pants that I had seen in my encounters. The connection was unnerving, but it left me perplexed. We were complete strangers, so why was he following me, and what did he seek from me? Recalling the monk's words, I realized that I had indeed picked up something during Ken's funeral, a torn piece of cloth from Anne's husband. It felt like a ragged remnant. With a newfound purpose, I took this item to the monks at the temple. Their response was unsettling but necessary. They explained that what I had received were remnants of the deceased's clothing and conducted a cremation ceremony for these fragments. After that ritual, the string of eerie accidents and encounters with individuals dressed in white ceased. It was as though the resolution of the lingering mysteries had finally brought peace, allowing me to move forward without the haunting presence that had shadowed me for so long. With the conclusion of the ritual at the temple, the haunting experiences that had plagued my life finally came to an end. The presence of Ken and the mysterious figure in white no longer cast their eerie shadows over me, leaving me with a newfound sense of tranquility. I couldn't help but reflect on the harrowing journey I had been through since Ken's untimely demise and the unsettling revelations that followed. The truth behind his tragic death, orchestrated by him and her malevolent schemes, had shocked me to the core. It was a stark reminder of the darkness that could reside within seemingly ordinary people. As time passed, I found solace in the closure that Ken's case had provided and in the knowledge that justice had been served. The memory of my dear friend would live on, not as a restless spirit but as a reminder of the importance of trust, loyalty, and the enduring power of friendship. Though I couldn't erase the chilling memories of those supernatural encounters, I had learned to move forward, strengthened by my experiences and the wisdom imparted by the monk. Life continued, now devoid of the ominous presence that had once haunted my every step. Thank you, awesome audience, for tuning in. Your support and enthusiasm mean the world to us. Remember to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell to stay updated on our latest content. Until next time, keep spreading positivity and embracing creativity. Stay amazing, and we'll see you soon.